This player is amazing. It plays darn near everything. Standard Blu-ray, 4K, 3D, DVD, CDs, a plethora of media files, Netflix, Prime, YouTube. Seriously, I just wanted a device that I could play both my DVDs and Blu-rays on, and this not only does that, it does it brilliantly. I mean, even my DVDs look great. The sound when paired with my Samsung Smart TV and Vizio surround sound system, sound phenomenal. I didn't even need to look at an instruction manual, the menus are very intuitive. Network setup was very easy. I love that with the included power cord and a good quality, compatible HDMI cable. You do have to supply your own HDMI cable. This player works practically right out of the box. For all it does, basic setup is simple and it works. Gosh, I love it when electronics just work the way they are supposed to. I cannot even begin to express how happy I am with this multimedia. I refuse to label it a blue player, and the price for everything you are getting in the way of function and performance. Bravo Panasonic, bravo! After searching and searching for a 4K Blu player that is built great, has a timer on the front, has a great user interface, and all-around great picture quality, I'm glad I found the Panasonic 820. LG and Sony 4K Blu-ray players just didn't do it for me. They're poorly made and have all kinds of flaws. Let's talk about the design. It has a matte black glossy design and the build quality is excellent. It supports all HDR formats except for Technicolor HDR. HDR10, HDR10 Plus, and Dolby Vision are all supported. All audio formats are supported including Dolby Atmos and DTS:X. The HDR optimizer lets you customize some settings for a better HDR experience. However, it doesn't work for Dolby Vision content. The only flaws I have with this player are the apps. No Vudu, no Hulu, YouTube is broken and it doesn't play 4K content, and it has a lack of apps in the App Store. However, I don't think that's much of a deal since my TV and Xbox have more apps built in. Overall, I recommend this 4K Blu-ray player if you don't want to dish out almost $2,000 for an Oppo player. I have owned the Oppo UDP-203 player since it first came out, and it has arguably been the flagship of 4K players. Sadly, Oppo backed out of the market for 4K players after the 203 came out, and upon hearing about this I went into a deep funk for quite a while. But I digress. This player from Panasonic has been identified by some to now be the top player for UHD video, so I was in high hopes for its performance. The Oppo player, in contrast, has a nearly all-metal housing and has a very solid build. Setting it up was very easy and user-friendly. It walks you through the process step by step. I played UHD video through each player and I must say, the sharpness and clarity of the Panasonic surpasses the Oppo. Don't get me wrong, the picture on the Oppo is outstanding, but you can tell a definite improvement with the picture produced by the Panasonic. It is absolutely jaw-dropping. My television, BTW, is a Sony XBR75 by 850C 75-inch 4K Ultra HD. The Oppo has no apps built into the player, which never bothered me because I have a Roku channeled through it that has all the apps I could ever want. The Panasonic does have apps built in, but most of them I have never heard of and will never use. As far as my own preferences, the only real worthwhile apps included in the player are YouTube, Netflix, and Amazon. The user interface for the apps is ridiculously clunky to maneuver through. It has a lot of blank squares, which presumably are placeholders for more apps to be added later, see uploaded photos. Having said that though, I have another Panasonic 4K player, the DNP UB200, which I have owned for almost 2 years. It has the very same interface for apps as this newer model, and has had the same blank placeholders for additional apps all this time, so I am not holding my breath for new ones to be added anytime soon. My biggest disappointment in the Panasonic is that it will not play a fully ripped M2TS file. It will play the video, beautifully, I might add, but it will not play the audio. In contrast, the Oppo will play these files perfectly, and you can even switch the subtitles on and off with the push of a button on the remote. The Panasonic will also not play full BDMV folders. Additionally, if you're an audio junkie, I'm not, be aware that it will also not play SACT or DVD audio discs. The remote is small and basic and is the same format as the other Panasonic remotes I have on hand. The main feature I like on this particular remote for the DP-UB820 is the Playback info button, which quickly provides information as to how the video was encoded and the details of what is being fed to your television. To summarize, if you want a top-of-the-line player that will play UHD videos, hopefully more file formats will be playable in future firmware updates, and I also hope that they will eventually include more apps for easy access, like Pandora, Spotify, and SmugMug. If things change as I use it more, I will update this review. I hope it helped you to some degree. Thanks for reading. I was stoked to see a new entry from Panasonic in the high-end HDR and audio player segment. I've got an Onkyo 4K receiver, 7.1, and an LG OLED TV B7.8. The LGs have this nice HDR logo that kicks in when you get it all working right, very satisfying, as I was quickly able to test out and confirm Avengers Endgame in HDR with this player. If you are not familiar already with setting up a great home experience with HDR content and sound, start with K. The unit is very wide and has a slick piano black front, which the entire thing comes down when you open/close the tray. I quickly connected to the same inputs I had on my previous dual HDMI Blu-ray player and powered it on. The front panel has a text display that says "Welcome on Startup" and other messages as you navigate the unit. Unless you are in the straight-on seat, the cover to the front panel makes it hard to see what the message is. The message is set to far back. On first power up, descriptive audio assistant played, reading the text on screen for you, and the first question is to ask if you want to turn it off. A few more screens for the quick setup and you are at the home screen, see cap. It's a bit different in that you don't have a disc logo to choose. If you select videos, you will be asked if you want to watch disc or USB. I went straight to settings and flashed the firmware. The device came with 1.55 and with network access downloaded 1.6. The upgrade took about 10 minutes, with a reboot. I got worried for a moment as it seemed to say on May 5th, fifth step, for a long time, but it came out of it. Quickly reviewed the settings and popped in the 4K disc. It loaded pretty fast, and once I started the movie my receiver confirmed true HD 7.1 audio. Not only did my LG shows the HDR engaged logo, the player also has a banner that displays status on startup, or pausing a title, confirming you're in 4K and high dynamic range. Love it. I then went back out to the home/menu system and launched network services, which is the app loadout. Netflix, Prime Video and YouTube are the big apps pre-installed with a market app that has a few dozen other items to choose from, but sadly no Plex or Hulu. I'm going to contact Panasonic about this, but if you are talking high-end content player at this price point, I just don't see how you don't have a top-notch Plex app. Your home theater fans are going to be into a media server, no doubt about it. I then plugged in a USB stick with a bunch of FLAC audio files and enjoyed the sweet pure music playback the player boasts, very much a big plus. Click link in description for more reviews.